Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. In previous module, we have studied about freshwater ecosystem. Over there we have studied about lentic water, lotic water, wetlands, and we have also taken some examples from India as well as abroad. We have also studied over there about different kind of threats to the freshwater ecosystems and what can be the management strategies for freshwater ecosystems. In this module, we shall study about marine ecosystems. Marine ecosystems basically are due to salinity or high salt content, and global circulation make marine ecosystems different from other aquatic ecosystems. Marine ecosystems have distinct organisms and characteristics because of the unique combination of physical factors that create them. Marine ecosystems are home to a diverse variety of species ranging from platonic small organisms to large marine mammals. Tiny phytoplankton provide 60% of the oxygen on earth and form the basis of ocean food chain. Only 10% of the surface area of the global ocean supports half the world's fisheries. So with this background, the learning objective of this module are to learn about or to know about marine ecosystems. Then we will study coastal marine ecosystems and marine pelagic environment. We will study about the deep ocean, seamounts and hydrothermal vents. First of all, let me see about different abiotic factors in the ocean. There are several important abiotic factors, and these factors include inorganic nutrients like carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, iron and silicon. Second abiotic factor is motion in the ocean, that is upwelling, currents, tides, etc. Then dissolved materials, another important abiotic factor like gases and salts. Then climate, the various climatic factors that are related with the marine ecosystems include temperature, light, pressure variation in time and space. What kind of aquatic organisms are found in marine ecosystems? Marine ecosystems are home to a host of different species ranging from tiny planktonic organisms to large marine mammals like the whales. In marine ecosystem, there are planktons, nectons and benthos. As we have discussed in previous module also, planktons are small organisms that float in the water. Nectons are the organisms that are active swimmers, and benthos are the organisms that live on the bottom of an aquatic systems. Let me see example of each category of aquatic organisms. Among planktons in marine ecosystem, we find zooplanktons, phytoplanktons as well as bacterioplanktons. In necton category, we find fish, amphibian, squids, whales, dolphins, turtles, sea cow, crustaceans, shrimps, lobsters, etc. in the marine ecosystem. As far as benthos are concerned, we find plants as well as animals. In marine ecosystem, we find higher plants as well as attached algae, attached plants, and we find here a number of animals like aquatic insects, mollusks, snails and other invertebrates, worms, crayfish, etc. Means a lot of biodiversity is found in the marine ecosystem. You know that most biomass on earth consists of planktons. Planktons may be either phytoplanktons or zooplanktons. Phytoplanktons are autotrophic in nature, and these can synthesize and produce their own food. The examples of phytoplanktons are cyanobacteria, diatoms, coccolithophores and dinoflagellata. cingulates. As far as zooplanktons are concerned, zooplanktons are heterotrophic in nature, means they cannot synthesize their own food, rather they consume the food produced by autotrophs. Marine nectons. Marine nectons are independent swimmers. Most adult fish and squid are come under this category. Here we find marine mammals as well as marine reptiles in the marine ecosystems. Benthos may be epifauna or nectobenthos. Epifauna are those organisms that live on the surface of the sea floor. Nectobenthos are the organisms that swim or crawl through water above the sea floor. Benthos are most abundant in shallower water. Many of them live in perpetual darkness, coldness and stillness. In marine ecosystem, energy is transferred through the food chains, and we have studied this transfer of energy through food chain in detail in module number 1, 2, 3 of this paper. Here again in this figure you will find that the main source of energy is sun. From the sun the energy is trapped by the phytoplanktons called as primary producers. Then from the primary producers energy goes to the heterotrophs, that is first to the primary consumers and then it goes to the secondary consumers. Let me have a look on the number of marine species. This figure shows that of all the species, about 86% are land species and 14% are marine species. The total marine species are 2,50,000 out of 18 lakh of total world species. Among all marine species, 98% are benthic in nature. Now you know what are the benthic microorganisms, and about 2% are pelagic species. So from this figure we can conclude that the number of land species is much more than the marine species. The reason is oceans have relatively uniform conditions. That's why lesser adaptations are required and hence lesser speciation. Marine species are mostly benthic as compared to pelagic. At present, about 2,50,000 species are documented as marine species. Based on light penetration, ocean can be divided into 3 zones. These zones are called as dysphotic zone and aphotic zone. Photic zone is at the surface of the ocean and is up to 200 meter depth. In photic zone, there is enough light to allow photosynthesis. There is rarely any significant light beyond 200 meters in the oceans. Photic zone contains commercial fisheries and is home to many protected marine mammals and sea turtles. The second zone on the basis of light in the ocean is dysphotic zone. Dysphotic zone occurs between 200 meters and 1000 meters and is also known as the twilight layer. In this zone, only a small amount of light is available. Plants do not grow here due to the insufficient light. Below 1000 meter, the darkness layer or aphotic zone is present. This aphotic zone has no light and about 90% of the ocean comes under aphotic zone. This figure shows how far light travel in the ocean, and it is evident from this figure that on the basis of light penetration it can be divided into 3 zones as we have discussed just now. First one is sunlight zone, second is twilight zone, and third one is midnight zone. There is another division of the ocean, that is coastal and pelagic division of the oceans. The ocean can be divided into zones based on depth vertically and distance from the land, that is horizontally. So we can say that ocean can be divided based upon depth and distance from the land. Different zones of the ocean have conditions that support different organisms. Horizontal zone of marine ecosystems, the coastal zone, and the vast open water of the ocean, the pelagic zone. This figure depicts the coastal and pelagic division of ocean. These both zones are further divided into a number of other zones. This flow chart gives a very clear idea of the oceanic life zones. You will find here on the left hand side that marine ecosystem is divided into coastal ecosystem and pelagic zone. Coastal ecosystem is further divided into the littoral ecosystems, marine sand beaches, estuaries, mangrove, coral reefs, whereas pelagic zone is divided into Nearctic province and oceanic province. And oceanic province is further divided into epipelagic, euphotic zone, mesopelagic zone, bathypelagic zone, abyssal benthic zone, and hadal pelagic zone. Now we will be discussing about these different zones or different ecosystems of the this marine ecosystem. So first of all, let me discuss about marine coastal ecosystem. Coastal habitats are those above the spring high tide limit or above the mean water level in known tidal waters. Coastal habitats account for about 30% of all marine biological productivity. Coastal systems include the littoral, marine sandy beaches, and marine mud flat system. Coral reefs, mangroves, and seagrasses are some of the world's most biodiverse marine ecosystems. Coastal systems such as mangroves, salt marshes, and seagrass meadows have the ability to absorb carbon at the rate up to 50 times those of the same area of tropical forests. These protect the coastal line from wave action and erosion. The littoral ecosystems occupy coastal belts washed by waves and alternatively exposed and submerged by tides. Marine macroalgae or seaweeds live attached to rocks or other hard substrata. The biota in the littoral ecosystems is characterized by branchials, oysters, limpet, kelp or red algae. Seagrasses are found in shallow, salty and brackish waters in many parts of the world from the tropics. Seagrasses are capable of capturing and storing a large amount of carbon from the atmosphere. Dugongs in particular are very dependent on seagrass for their food. Another type was estuaries. An estuary is formed where a river or stream runs into the sea, forming a transition zone between freshwater and saltwater. The mixing of freshwater and seawater creates a brackish environment where salinity is highest closer to the sea and lowest in the river. Estuaries harbor unique plant and animal communities. Estuaries function on both planktonic based and detritus based food webs. About 80% of commercial marine fisheries depend in one way or another way on estuaries. The another category is mangroves. The mangrove ecosystems are found in the intertidal zones of sheltered shores, estuaries, creeks, backwaters, lagoons, marshes and mudflats along the tropical coastlines of Asia, Australia and Americas. Mangroves cover about 1,37,000 square kilometer of the earth's surface. Most of the world's mangroves are in the tropical and subtropical regions. These are comprised of halophytic vegetation. These mangroves are found in 123 countries around the world. 75% of the world's mangroves are found in just 15 countries. This figure shows the great Ganges Brahmaputra river delta of Bangladesh and India. The darker color mangrove forest of the Sundarbans are shown in this picture. Some rivers meet the sea without forming an estuary because, for example, the geography of the river prevents seawater entering into it. In some cases, the river channel divides, creating multiple much smaller entry points in the sea, and these are known as deltas. The world's largest delta is at the mouth of the Ganges river. The deposition of nutrient makes the area being one of the most fertile regions of the world, and you know that is Sundarban Delta. Let me have a look on the distribution of mangroves in India. Mangroves are found along the east and west coasts as well as the Andaman and Nicobar. Sundarbans, 40% in West Bengal, is the largest mangrove in the world. Mahanadi in Odisha, Godavari Krishna in Andhra, Kaveri in Tamil Nadu, Gulf of Kutch in Khambat region of Gujarat. Mangroves play a critical role in reducing the impacts of extreme events such as droughts, floods and tsunamis. Tropical coral reefs. Tropical coral reefs are built around coral, a coelenterate animal related to the jellyfish and sea anemones in the warm waters of tropical and subtropical oceans. Most of a coral's energy is produced by microscopic plants called as zooxanthellae that live within the coral. These zooxanthellae actually give corals their beautiful colors. The coral also feeds on plankton of water, and by doing so procures nutrients to be used by its partner. The partner is the dinoflagellates. The color of these coral reefs depends on the type of algae present. Corals are very slow growing. You might have studied that all the corals of the world are nowadays endangered. Please study that what are the causes of this decoloration etc. of the corals and how these can be revived. There are more than 2,500 species of coral, of which only 650 are reef builders. Let me have a look on the different reefs. Australia's Great Barrier Reef. This picture shows Australia's Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef of Australia is located on the northeast coast of Australia. It contains the world's largest collection of coral reefs with 400 types of coral. The Great Barrier Reef is home to a wide range of life including fish, sea turtles, giant clam, seahorse, sea turtles, sharks and many more. Climate change is the biggest threat to the Great Barrier Reef. This Great Barrier Reef is the habitat of species such as dugong, also called as sea cow, and the large green turtle, which are threatened with extinction. Coral reefs in India. The reefs are found in the Gulf of Kutch in the northwest and Pak Bay and Gulf of Mannar in the southeast in India. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal have fringing reefs around many islands and a long barrier reef about 329 km on the west coast. The Lakshadweep Island in the Arabian Sea also has extensive reefs, and these reefs that are found, coral reefs that are found in India are shown in this figure. Marine pelagic environment. Pelagic zone include the entire ocean water column. The pelagic zone has the largest volume and the greatest vertical range depth. Pelagic life is found throughout the water column, although the number of individuals and species decreases with increasing depth. Pelagic zone can be divided into two categories. One is called as Neritic province and other one is called as Oceanic province, as we have seen earlier in the flow chart diagram. Pelagic zone, as shown in this figure, include the entire ocean water column. The pelagic zone has the largest volume and the greatest vertical range of depth up to 11,000 meters. Marine pelagic environment. Neritic province. The Neritic zone is the portion of the world's oceans stretching from the edge of the intertidal zone to approximately the edge of the continental shelf. It forms part of the epipelagic zone, the 200 meters closest to the surface. Sunlight penetrates the entire water column, well oxygenated water, low water pressure, relatively stable temperature and salinity levels. The animals in the Neritic zone are the eels, sea turtles, dolphins and sea stars. World's major fish catch and invertebrates catches are from the Neritic zone. This table shows different zones of the Oceanic province. The different zones of Oceanic province are the epipelagic zone. This zone is up to 200 meters and it is the sunlit upper layer of the ocean. The second zone is mesopelagic zone, that is 1000 to 100 meters, and this zone is also known as the twilight zone. The bathypelagic zone is from 1000 to 4000 meter. This zone has bioluminescent organisms. Bioluminescent organisms are those organisms that produce light through chemical reactions in their body. Then next zone is abyssopelagic zone. It is having a depth of 4000 to 6000 meters. The water at the bottom of the ocean is very salty and cold in this zone, and the temperature may be up to 2 degrees Celsius. The last zone is Hadal-pelagic zone, that is 6000 to 10,000 meter depth. This is the deepest oceanic zone found in trenches and canyons. Hadal trenches are the deepest places on the earth. The deep ocean. The deep sea environments, the water and sediments of the ocean are more than 200 meter deep, are the largest biome of the world. These represent more than 65% of the earth's surface. In this dark pelagic zone, carnivorous copepods and other crustaceans occur along with colonial bacteria. In the deepest part of the oceans, animals may have light producing organisms or luminescence. The deep ocean benthos are rich in biodiversity. Seamounts are undersea mountains formed by volcanic activity rising at least 3,500 feet above the sea floor. What are hydrothermal vents? A venting black smoker emits jets of particle laden fluids rich in sulfide minerals called as hydrothermal vents. Black smokers are chimneys formed from deposits of iron sulfide, which is black in color. White smokers are chimneys formed from deposits of barium, calcium and silicon that are white in color. Chemosynthesis is basis of life around deep sea hydrothermal vents. What are the major challenges which the marine ecosystems are facing? The major challenges are water pollution, and water pollution from point sources as well as non-point sources, that is a challenge. Another challenge for marine ecosystems is habitat loss and degradation. Coastal development, overfishing. This overfishing can decrease fish stocks, cause effects throughout the food web and impact the economy of that area. Then climate change is another factor. Sea levels changes that are resulting into wetland loss, erosion of coastal habitats and habitat loss to marine species. Another important factor is oceanic acidification. Because oceans are absorbing higher concentrations of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and this is resulting in a lowering of seawater pH. Dear students, please study about oceanic acidification in detail. Now, to summarize this module, in this module we have learnt that marine ecosystems are home to a wide variety of species ranging from planktonic organisms to large marine mammals. Coastal habitats are those above the spring high tide limit. Examples of coastal habitats are estuaries, mangroves and seagrasses. The mangroves and coral reefs are hotspots of biodiversity in tropical and subtropical oceans. Pelagic zone includes the entire oceanic water column. The neritic zone in the portion of the world's oceanic stretching from the edge of the intertidal zone to the edge of the continental shelf. The oceanic province of pelagic zone has the largest volume and shows vertical zones. Thank you.